I'm Salad, Mint Salad, and I saw GoldenEye. It is directed by Martin Campbell, written by Jeffrey Kane and Bruce Fierstein. If you haven't seen this movie, I will spoil it for you. This movie starts and immediately I can tell that the technology has advanced. From the 60s filming to this is a 95 film. This movie came out 30 years ago. If you were born in 95, bam! You're just as old as this movie. This is also clearly an action movie, mostly focused on the action part versus the spy part, which immediately gives it a different vibe than the other James Bond movies. Something's different with the camera. I don't know, it just looks different. I'm thinking maybe there's some bokeh. I think there's some bokeh in the background, a little slight blur. That's what bokeh means. And also it's a wide angle lens, and I think the aspect ratio is different than the other movies. Plus there's a lot of movement in camera. I'm talking moving the camera back and forth in a 180 degree. The movie's plot starts with James Bond breaking into a Soviet place with a bunch of chemical weapons. He proceeds to destroy it and then goes away. This is set in the past, and then we get a few years later that we have a GoldenEye weapons program happening. More specifically, they don't know about this GoldenEye weapon until there's a helicopter that gets stolen and then taken to Russia. By the way, the Soviet Union has dissolved by now. Yay! I never lived through the Soviet Union. All I hear about are stories. Also, I was just thinking about the word Soviet Union, right? You got the United States. Technically, it's United States of America, but it is often referred to as the Union, or at least Americans call it that. But we got a Soviet Union. I guess the whole Cold War thing was between the ideals of capitalism and communism, and obviously capitalism wins because how are you going to make money giving everyone the same amount of stuff? There's no motivation to make money or to produce labor to get more money. That's the purpose of capitalism. It incentivizes people to work harder so they get more in return. I'm actually surprised how long they lasted. MI6 detects some satellites up in the air, and so we got James Bond is on the case, and we got a new M, by the way. The last M, the last head honcho, he was a dude. This one is a chick. And immediately she's more intimidating than the last guy. I feel like the last guy kind of was okay with James Bond's antics. This one, she has James Bond more on a leash. I also feel like this movie involves the agency more than previous movies, which I like. There was also a blast produced by this weapon, GoldenEye. Very deadly blast. You gotta destroy it or else that blast is gonna be used to destroy a lot of cities, and that's no good. Wait, isn't there a treaty to not put stuff in the space because of weapons reasons? You can't put weapons in space? There's a treaty for this. There's people literally breaking that treaty. How are they not investigated by anyone? How did they get the ability to put GoldenEye up there without anyone noticing? I feel like you'd have to fill some forms out, send it to a bureaucracy, have the bureaucracy approve it, and then you can put a bunch of satellites in space. I feel like you'd have to lie about what it is in order to even put it in space in the first place, because if you're forthright or affronting, oh hey, this is a weapon, then nobody's gonna allow you to put it up there. But if you're like, oh yeah, it's just some satellite, then they're more likely to put it up there. So of course it's up to James Bond to try to get this helicopter. I like how he almost gets the helicopter, but then a bunch of these officers hold him back so the helicopter goes away. And so James Bond is like, dang it, well I actually have to get this helicopter this time. These guys, they didn't allow me to get the helicopter in the first place. Ah! I like how this movie has elements from other movies, like The Hidden Base, for example. Instead of it being in a crater, it's in a lake, and it has a satellite dish. And I wonder, how are you gonna do this? How are you gonna make an underground base in water? Do you make the base first and then dump the water on top of it, making a man-made lake? James Bond goes into this base. He gets captured, and there's some exposition thrown at him that this guy wants to destroy the economy of London. I feel like it'd be a better endeavor and more effective if you were to destroy the economy of the United States, because practically everything is based off of the dollar now. Not like actually, but unofficially actually, you know, a lot lot of people really value the dollar. What if the American dollar were to go down? Then what would happen to the economy? I feel like if you were to destroy the United States economy, it would be worse for the world. But this guy's like, I want to destroy London. I'm like, I get it because this is a British movie. I get it, but it'd be much more effective if you were to destroy the United States economy. Let me know if I'm wrong about economics, because I don't know anything about the economy except for what I observe. I also like the gadgets that he has. My favorite one is this pen. This pen that can explode. It's pretty cool. Don't you wish you had that type of pen whenever you needed it? I don't want to be at work today. I'm gonna take out my pen and throw it and my whole place explodes. I don't have to do work anymore. I don't know, it just seems very convenient. But I do like how James Bond uses this to get out of trouble. He throws the pen at some chemicals, it goes phew, and then he's able to escape. We also got James Bond trying to take away control of the satellite, and he's successful. And we got some people trying to turn the satellite back on, while James Bond is trying to destroy it, trying to destroy this base. It's pretty freaking sweet, and I feel like this movie is more so focused on the action than the spy part. James Bond, he's kind of less trying to sneak around and more so just going it's just so many in this movie and so many stealing things. Oh boy, I like it. There's also a really tense scene where they're on an antenna and they're fighting on an antenna, and James Bond is about to fall off and this guy is about to kick him off, but somehow James Bond is able to take over the situation and that guy goes down into the antenna and dies. And I'm like, yes! GoldenEye is destroyed, and James Bond and the chick that he's been with pretty much the entirety of the movie, they're about to have a little kissu section. They're about to have a little bit of a kissu, and she's like, I don't feel alone. And he's like, there's nobody here for the 20 miles. And then a bunch of, oh my goodness, this is my favorite ending. We got a bunch of soldiers who were in leaves emerge and a helicopter, and it turns out to be like 50 people there. And I'm just thinking, oh boy, if James Bond had it his way, he would have banged that chick right then and there, and all of those Marine guys would have just heard it. It's just a really funny thought to me. James Bond flirts with a lot of chicks in this movie, but he only has sex with one chick in this movie, which is fun. I like it. It shows that he's more so focused on the objective and the mission more so than banging the chicks, although it's not for lack of trying. It's just that the mission just keeps interrupting any chances that he has. We also got Pierce Brosnan as the Bond, and I have to describe him as a mixture of Roger Moore and Timothy Dalton. I did read online that some people think he's a mix of Sean Connery and Roger Moore. No, he doesn't have the misogynist energy that Sean Connery has, but he definitely has the softness of the Timothy Dalton, and he has the focus and the flirtiness, not outright misogynist, but still kind of treating women as objects, but not really, not as much as Sean Connery. He has those aspects of Roger Moore. So this is a combination of Roger Moore and Timothy Dalton and Pierce Brosnan. He brings the officialness of James Bond. James Bond in previous movies just feels like a cool guy. With this James Bond, he feels like a government agent. Do you know what I mean by that? He just feels like he's taken the job a lot more seriously than the other ones. The other depictions of Bond, it feels like he's using this job as an excuse to sleep with a lot of women. Pierce Brosnan feels like he's only concerned about the job, and whenever he sleeps with women, it's a plus. But he's not there to sleep with the women. I like GoldenEye a lot. What do you think of GoldenEye? I hear there's a video game that created a whole entire genre of video game. Let me know if you like this movie, if you like the video game, and what do you think of Pierce Brosnan in the comments below. I gotta give it 7.5 out of 10. If you like this review, watch another one on the platform relax at $20 Dinos, patreon.com/ASEPresents. One movie review per 1 month. Go to this link to support the daily grindness of all them daily movies, so go here. And until next time, in Salad Saw, see you later, my Salad Croutons, bacon bits. Adios.